Welcome back. This is continuation of chapter 2, role of the project manager. In this session, you will learn about politics and power and how that affect us as a project manager. We will also discuss various forms of the power. You will learn about 6 leadership styles, difference between leadership and management, and how project manager will perform integration. Politics, power, and getting things done. Have you ever executed a project without politics? Most likely, answer is no. Politics is everywhere, within family, within project team members, and at organization level. I'm not saying you have to play politics, but as a project manager, you need to understand the politics. Sometimes you get stuck to get a favorable decision. So in such a case, it may be good to know someone who has an influence, who can influence the decision in your project's favor. Leadership and management are about getting things done. The skills and qualities will help project manager to achieve project's objective. However, at the root of this, it's the ability of a project manager to deal with the politics. Politics is neither good or bad, and it happens in all organizations. Politics involve influence, negotiation, autonomy, and power. As a project manager, we have different types of power that we can utilize on our project. We are going to walk through these different powers and discuss how they can be used on the project. Positional power. The project manager's power is because of the position as a project manager. This is also known as formal, authoritative, and legitimate power. Imagine a project manager that's recently been hired and have been assigned a new project. Well, this person doesn't have any real power. He don't know the project team, don't have a relationship with the team or any of the other project stakeholder. And so this is also known as a formal or authoritative or legitimate power. It is just the role as a project manager which is giving him a power. Informational power. The individual has a power and control of the data gathering and distribution of information. For example, project manager can control data gathering and distribution of information, so the control of the information can be a power. You might have noticed some key stakeholder holds information to themselves to keep the power. Referent power. The project manager is respected or admired because of team's past experience with that project manager. This is about the project manager's credibility in the organization. For example, project manager says, we are going to do certain tasks in certain way because Mr. Arav, our CEO, gave this direction. As a team worked with this PM in the past, they are aware of PM's relation with CEO and team will agree to execute given activity as instructed. Situational power. The project manager has a power because of certain situation in the organization. For example, change in leadership of organization. Personal or charismatic power. The leader have warm personality that other people like. He is motivating, has high energy and inspires the team through strong conviction about what is possible and what team can achieve. Positive thinking and can-do attitude are characteristics of a charismatic leader. Relational power. Project manager participates in networking. He builds connection and alliances. And these alliances will be useful, they will be on your side when you have challenges on the project. Expert power. The project manager has a deep skills and experience in certain discipline. For example, years of working in IT help IT project manager to better manage IT projects. Reward-oriented power. The project manager can reward the project team so the team acts accordingly. For example, in anticipation of successful project completion bonus, team may work hard to deliver project on time. Punitive or coercive power. The project manager can punish the project team. Using this power may cause negative consequences as well. Ingratiating power. The project manager aims to gain favor with the project team and stakeholders through flattery. Project manager uses phrase like, "It was such a great job. I don't know what we would do without you, and you are just wonderful." At first, team or stakeholder do respect that, but if there is too much of flattery, then it's not good. It's a false power and it wears down over time. Guilt-based power. The project manager can make the team and stakeholder feel guilty to gain compliance in the project. Pressure-based power. The project manager can restrict choice to get the project team to perform and do the project work. Avoiding power. The project manager refuses to act and get involved or make decision. Persuasive power. Ability to persuade people to desired outcome or decision. This power is very much important when you want to get people together and you want to reach at certain outcome or decision. These are the powers that you need to recognize for your project management professional exam. Comparison of leadership and management. We will start with a pinbox definition for each of them. Leadership. It is about aligning, motivating, and inspiring the project team members to do right thing, build trust, think creatively, and to challenge the status quo. Management. It utilizes positional power to maintain, administrate, control, and focus on getting things done without challenging the status quo of the project and organization. Now let's compare and contrast. Leadership is about leading people, guiding and influencing people. Leadership is getting people to work together, inspire people to achieve great things, to find ambitions, to create and set goals. Management is about managing people, using positional power, getting things done. It is reactive in nature. Management is more about business skills than what we see in leadership. Management has administrative focus. It focuses on system and the structure, where leadership focuses on relationship building. Leadership has a long-term vision. Management thinks about how and when. Leadership thinks about what and why. Management is looking at the bottom line while leadership looks at the horizon. We need management and we also need leadership as a project managers. So we need both of these attributes to be a successful project manager. Let's talk about various types of leadership styles. As you know, we need to manage project relationship, which means building trust and satisfying needs and concerns of stakeholders are critical. Getting people to agree, finding consensus while balancing competing constraints like time, cost, and scope is very difficult task. There has to be some give and take among team members and other stakeholders, and we as a project manager need to facilitate that. Let's take a look at 6 leadership style which will help us to achieve the same. We have laissez-faire, transactional leader, servant leader, transformational leader, charismatic leader, and interactional leader. Laissez-faire leadership. The leader takes a hands-off approach to the project. Leader provides little or no direction or supervision. Teams are often given as much as freedom possible. This means project team makes their own decision, create goals, and take actions to deliver activities. While this approach can provide freedom, it can make the leader appear absent when it comes to project decisions. So it's a kind of a dangerous leadership style. Transactional leadership. The leader emphasizes the goal of project and reward and incentivize the project team. This is sometimes called as management by exception, as it is the exception that is rewarded or punished. Focus is on supervision, organization, and group performance. Leader pays attention to followers' work to find faults and deviation. Sometimes it gets into micromanagement as well. Leader promotes compliance through both reward and punishment. Leader gives reward to the top performer and punishes the bottom performers. This approach is effective in crisis and emergency situations. Servant leader. The leader puts others first and focuses on needs of the project team and the people he serves. Servant leaders provide opportunity for growth, education, autonomy within the project, and the well-being of others. The primary focus of servant leadership is service to others. This method inspires employees and it helps enrich lives of individuals and help build better organization. This leadership style most associated with adaptive or agile or Scrum life cycles. It has this theme called leader carries food and water for the team. Now it doesn't physically means carrying food and water, but it means leader ensure that team members have everything that they need in order to get the work done. Transformational leadership. The leader inspires and motivates the project team to achieve project goals. Transformational leaders aim to empower the project team to act and be innovative in their work. Leader works with subordinates to identify needed change. They create a vision to guide the change through inspiration and motivation. They tell team that you can do more than you think that is possible and get more work done. Leader execute the change with committed members. They empower the team to take action and find innovative creative solutions to complete the project work. Charismatic leader. Now this is one that inspires you and have high energy level. These leaders lead by example. They are enthusiastic, self-confident and very happy. They want project team to be successful. They have a strong conviction about what team can achieve and what team can't. Interactional leader. The leader is a hybrid of transactional, transformational, and charismatic leader. They are excited and inspired about the project work. They participate with the team and they motivate and inspire the team. The interactional leader coaches team and wants team to be action oriented and produce result. Leader ensures that team is still held accountable for their actions and for the results of their work. These are the 6 leadership styles that you should recognize. You might see some scenarios where you have a question describing one of these leadership styles and you will be asked which leadership style is being described. Leadership personalities. Personality refers to difference in pattern of thinking, feeling and behaving. Some things that we need to recognize when it comes to good leadership personality are authentic. Leaders are authentic, they are genuinely interested and they have concern for others. Courteous. Leaders are courteous, they are polite, they show respectful behavior, they know how to speak and treat other people. Creative. Leaders are creative, they are able to think creatively and they seek solution through creativity. Cultural. Leaders are sensitive to others' culture. Culture includes values, norms, and beliefs. This kind of personality can be useful to manage international projects with diverse team members from around the globe. emotional. Leaders has more emotional intelligence. They are emotional. They show empathy and understanding. They understand where people are coming from emotionally, and they have ability to manage their own personal emotions. Intellectual. They demonstrate intelligence and they are also respectful towards the intelligence of others. Managerial. They understand management practices and has appetite for the same. Political. Leaders understand politics and how politics can influence the project. Service oriented. Of course, leaders are service oriented. Leaders provide others what they need in order to be successful. They are social, they are friendly, easily approachable, and they understand the needs and wants of the project team and stakeholders. Systematic. They get things done in a systematic way. So these are the various leadership personality traits that you will find in a good leaders. Next topic is about performing integration. Project integration management ensures all knowledge areas and processes works together. And this is explained in PMBOK chapter 2, that is integration management knowledge area. Integration is a critical skill for project manager. But right now we are talking about different type of integration. This is integration within the project. This addresses how project is integrated with the organization's vision, goal and tactics. Integration at this level is about working with project sponsor, understanding the goals and vision of the project, and how does it supports the goal, strategy and objective of the organization. If the project is not contributing to business value, if it is not supporting the goals and the objective of organization, then most likely that project will not be initiated or it will be cancelled. This integration is achieved through integration of processes, knowledge and people. Integration takes place at three different levels: process level integration, cognitive level integration and context level integration. Process level integration. This is about relationship among all processes that we execute to deliver the project. You learned in chapter 1, one process can affect other process. So project manager has to understand the interrelationship among these processes and document it. As you know, output of one process may be input to another. In chapter 1, we talked about this and gone through the example where verified deliverables are output of control quality process, and then these verified deliverables are input to validate scope process. Processes may take place once. For example, you may have project charter creation process once in a phase of the project, yeah, sometime for even entire project. Some processes may overlap and occur several times. For example, control quality process may be executed multiple times for each deliverable. Some processes may not be used throughout the project life cycle. For example, if there is no procurement, in that case, procurement related process will not be executed. Processes are tailored as per need of the project or organization. We talked about this earlier. Another type of integration is cognitive level integration. This is based on project manager's maturity and experience. You have good insight into the project work and you understand what should be done. So in such a case, you can see possible future problems in the project. Your brain, critical thinking capabilities, your ability to think through a complex problem, and finally understand impact on the project. This is done through a cognitive level integration. Cognitive level integration also requires leadership skills, business management skills, and your ability to get things done. Cognitive level integration expect one to have proficiency in all 10 knowledge areas with the ability to integrate all these processes together. Context level integration. It's about managing project in changing time and changing project environment. For example, from year 2000 to year 2015, information technology projects were more of automation and major focus was on development language and database functionality so that user interfaces were built and the systems got automated. However, last couple of years, information technology projects are becoming very complex. The complexity level increased tenfold. It involves integrations with various technology, payment integration, mobile user interfaces, cloud storage, artificial intelligence integration, and various security consideration. On top of this, projects are using agile methodologies to meet business agility needs. People are working remotely using collaboration tools, CI/CD, that is continuous integration and continuous deployment to build and deploy the application. So this is a lot more complex and complicated compared to earlier time. So changing time and changing project environment needs a context level integration. Same is applicable for construction projects with a green building or sustainable building, highly automated technology driven building. For example, construction of 80-story rotating tower which is planned in Dubai. So these are very complex context level integration. Let's summarize the key elements of this integration. New technologies and using automated tools, visual project management tools, social network, online collaboration, multicultural aspects, and virtual teams. Integration and complexity. Some projects are very complex and difficult to manage. There are three dimensions of complexity. System behavior. This refers to interdependencies of component and system. These are mostly technical in nature. Similar project experience with a similar technology will give project manager more comfort to perform such integrations. Human behavior. Managing diverse individual and group is challenging task. Exceptional level of interpersonal and leadership skills are required to manage human behaviors. Ambiguity. This is uncertainty of emerging issues and lack of understanding. For example, if you are working on innovative project, something that was never done before, then as a project manager, you have to deal with highest level of ambiguity and you have to perform integration, which will be very, very difficult. So project manager has to deal with these three dimensions of complexity and perform integrations accordingly. Let's do a quick recap. In this session, you learned about politics and power, and we discussed various forms of power. You learned about 6 leadership styles, difference between leadership and management, and what different types of integrations will be performed by project manager. Well, let's do a complete recap of chapter 3. So in this chapter, you learn project manager and his role, project manager's sphere of influence, project manager competencies, where we talked about PMI talent triangle, 6 leadership style, leadership personality, comparison of leadership and management, politics and power, and how PM is performing integration. So this is the end of chapter 3, role of project manager. Thank you for staying with me. I'm sure you are investing 100% efforts and you will get results soon. See you in next session.